Dustin Brown's been suspended for 1 game for kneeing against Tampa Bay Lightning defenseman Sergachev. I want to discuss the suspension, plus we have some channel updates to discuss as well. And that's coming up next. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We review and discuss all 31 NHL teams. So if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. Alright, so let's discuss the Dustin Brown suspension. It's been noted here by NHL Player Safety he's only been suspended for 1 game for this kneeing incident against Tampa Bay defenseman Sergachev. Of course, once again, if you did not see the play or the highlights of this play, there's going to be a link down in the description where you can check it out and form your own opinion here. But certainly take a look at the image here on the screen. You can see Brown going in, a little bit reckless in my opinion, gets a knee-on-knee collision against Sergachev. Sergachev was originally looked to be injured. He was able to come back and play, and there hasn't been any word since then to say that he's going to be out. So I think he's going to be okay, which is the good news here. Now keep in mind, Dustin Brown was just recently fined, just a matter of a few weeks ago, the maximum amount under the player safety rules of $10,000 for a boarding call, I believe which it was against the Pittsburgh Penguins' Justin Schultz. So he's kind of had a few run-ins here lately with the player safety department. I'm surprised in a way it was only 1 game. I mean, I know this wasn't a real bad situation, but it was a bit reckless, and given the fact that he was just recently fined, you know, I thought maybe it might have been a little bit more. You know, once again, I've kind of griped on this a little bit here a few times in the last few weeks because we've seen some other suspensions, and as much as for the most part, the more recent ones I've agreed with the situation and the calls and the amounts given, but it just seems to be a lot of inconsistencies on how they're determining the number of games warranted for these different issues. I know sometimes it can be a little bit different depending on the player's history. I mean, Dustin Brown's always been the kind of guy, he's always plays on the edge. You know, he's a very hard-nosed guy. He's especially younger in the younger days of his career, was certainly, you know, even more of an effective power forward. You know, he's always been a guy who's played a very physical game on the edge, and for the most part, he's, you know, relatively clean. Hasn't had too many issues with the league and player safety, but he's had some run-ins lately, and it's certainly just a little bit surprising given this recent history where they fined him the maximum amount that he's now going in only getting a 1-game suspension for this dangerous kneeing hit on Sergachev. So what are your thoughts on the suspension? Is 1 game justified, or should it have been more? What are your thoughts? Certainly leave some comments down below. I thought it would have been a little bit more than 1. We don't see too many 1-game suspensions anymore. We've seen numerous cases this year of first-time offenders on hits where there wasn't much of an injury. Yes, they were considered dangerous plays or whatnot, and they were given 2 and 3 games in a few cases. So based on that, if you look at, like, I don't know, for example, the Freddie Claesson suspension earlier this year, the Andrew Cogliano suspension, a couple of good examples, I think, where they didn't have a prior history. You know, the plays, you could argue that there were some, you know, some danger to them and whatnot, but, you know, they were given 2 and 3 games where Brown does have a bit of a history. This play was equally as dangerous. I mean, it certainly wasn't the worst we've ever seen, but, you know, it certainly wasn't the least dangerous either. So, I thought maybe 2 to 3 might be a little bit more justified, but that's just me. It seems like it's really, really hard right now with the player safety department to kind of predict where suspensions are going. There's many times here this year where I've kind of given my thoughts on where I thought it would end up, and you know, we've been off here a few times. So certainly leave your thoughts down below, and let me know if you agree if the NHL has been inconsistent as well, because that's kind of where my biggest beef is with suspensions this year. On another quick note, if you find I sound a little odd today, I am doing my best here to kind of keep up with the videos, but I am fighting off a fairly bad cold. I've got a really sore throat. That's why there was no video yesterday. I'm trying real hard to get one up here, posted for today. So please bear with me. So if I sound a little odd, that's why, but I appreciate you sticking with me, and we'll go from there. So now on to some channel updates that I wanted to discuss with you guys. This is something that's been in the works here for probably a week or 2, and it's been also been asked upon me by a couple of viewers through comments or private messages as well. So as some of you may or may not know, I know some of you create your own videos, and most of you probably mainly use YouTube just to watch content. I know there are some of you out there that create your own content as well. So depending on where you're at with that, you may be aware of some changes coming up with YouTube, or you may not be. So just to quickly summarize, YouTube has recently changed what the requirements are to be a part of the YouTube Partner Program. Now, to be in a YouTube Partner Program, that means you're allowed to have ads showing on your videos, and you're allowed to generate ad revenue so that you can be compensated for your time and effort for your YouTube videos. Well, once upon a time, when I first started this channel, the requirement was you had to hit 10,000 views. Now, this channel was technically launched in September. By the time I was posting regularly, we were into October. I believe it took me, I don't know, maybe 6-7 weeks, I think it was, to achieve the requirements in order to start having my videos monetized. So we were into November. And actually, as of yesterday, I just found out that I've generated enough to earn my first YouTube paycheck. So, yee-hoo! In order to get paid from YouTube through your Google AdSense account, you have to generate at least $100 worth of ad revenue. They don't pay it out until you hit that plateau, and I just accomplished that. So that took, and actually the way it worked out is I passed it. I think it's going to work out to be around 155 Canadian dollars, I believe, because YouTube obviously is an American company. So everything that I see on my analytics are all US dollars. Once it gets over to my AdSense account, it gets converted to Canadian. So if you look at it, it took me around 3 months to hit that. So it was around $50 a month. So it's nothing to get too excited about, but it's at least enough to cover, for example, my internet bill that I used, and obviously for YouTube quite a bit. So obviously the longer term goal here is to kind of generate this channel to be big enough. I'm not looking to get rich by any means. I don't expect that. I doubt that'll ever happen, but it'd be nice to have some kind of a monthly income generated off the effort and time that goes into making these videos. I do it mostly as a hobby, something I enjoy to do, but the long-term goal is I looked at this as kind of like a side job that I'm hoping to grow into something bigger. So with all that being said, the new requirements kick in here, and I believe it's about a week and a half or 2 weeks time when those changes kick in. With the new requirements, you have to have 1,000 subscribers, and you have to have 4,000 watch time hours. Now, when it comes to the subscribers, obviously as of right now, when I'm filming this, I believe we're at 394. I believe I just looked here before we started filming, and that so that should be a real-time count. Now, of course, that could change by the time this video gets posted on YouTube later today. But so we're hovering, close to the 400 mark. So we got a ways to go to get that on the watch time perspective, the 4,000 watch hours. By the time these metrics have to be obtained, I'm going to be really, really close on that part. So obviously, by the time we hit the 1,000 subscribers, that part will be achieved as well. So I guess I'm asking for your support here. I know many of you already support the channel quite a bit by watching regularly, which is greatly appreciated. But I guess if you're a casual viewer, if you've been viewing but you haven't subscribed yet, doing so could go a long ways to helping us achieve our goals here. So please consider doing that. But what we've done is I've had a couple of viewers mention me either between comments or private messages asking about how can I support your channel? Can you accept donations, etc. So what we've done, I was going to do this a little bit, probably a little later. I was going to maybe hold off another month or two. But once YouTube announced these changes, I decided, we should maybe do it sooner, just so that with the hope of generating something here a little bit sooner than later. Plus, we've had a few people asking about it. So we've gone ahead and we've created a Patreon account for this channel. So Top Shelf Hockey is now a member of the Patreon family, and we're hoping to gain support from our viewers to kind of help us kind of take things to the next level. The main objective, my intention here is with the first, I figured with the first few YouTube checks or whatever we earn for income off the first few months, it's all going to go right back into the channel. It's not enough money to really make any difference in my personal life right now. So obviously it's something I want to upgrade our equipment. I want to improve our audio. I want to improve our lighting. I want to do some more things with green screens, etc. So I have lots of things that I want to do to kind of take the quality up to the next level. And I'm going to, obviously like I said, my intention was to use mainly ad revenue. And then over time, we were going to launch Patreon. But obviously, as of the next couple of weeks here, we're not going to have ad revenue anymore, at least temporarily. We figure, if all goes well within a month or two, we should hopefully have that kind of starting back up again. But in the meantime, so on Patreon, if you're not familiar with it, there is a link in the description. Basically, it's a way for you as a viewer to help support the channel. So that there's different levels of what you can do. So as a Patreon member, I can create as many different tiers as we want to kind of have it so you have options on how you want to go ahead and support Top Shelf Hockey. So for example, we have the lowest tier. It's just called a tip jar. So you really like what we do, you want to offer some support. You may not have a ton of budget in your pocketbook for this right now, but you know what? $3 a month can go a long ways. So something like that's an option. Tier is a $5 level where you're considered like a Top Shelf Hockey VIP, and you will get a few perks as well. And then we have a $10 and $20 level, and with each level, the more you donate, the more perks that comes with it. So on our Patreon page, we're going to be producing some exclusive content that's going to, for people who donate, to see over there. There'll be a little bit of behind the scenes footage, maybe some bloopers. So as we're filming, as you can probably all imagine, I don't get this all done in one take perfectly. There are screw ups, and obviously it can create for some funny scenes. So there's going to be a little bit of pictures and videos of behind the scenes stuff. And one of the highest tier, which is a $20 level, you're going to have the ability to be like a producer and produce a video per month with me. So we'll work together. You suggest a topic, you can help me do any research or help me come up with all the talking points so that it's done exactly to your T, and you can have some input on as far as the editing and how it all gets put together, so we can kind of collaborate with the viewer once a month in order to make that happen. Now there's multiple patrons that can be doing that every month. There's not just one spot. So we're going to do there's different levels available for that. So all of you great viewers out there, if you're looking to support Top Shelf Hockey, there's a link down in the description below for our Patreon page. Please go check it out. If there's anything you can do to support us and help us take our quality to the next level, I greatly appreciate it. Any support's greatly welcomed. Obviously, even just by viewing this video, you're helping us out. So that's all your support in any shape or form is appreciated. I understand that not everybody is able or willing to go ahead and donate money to help us grow our channel, and I don't expect that. But if you really like what we do and you really want to offer some support, it's amazing how, even though it might not be a lot, even a couple of dollars, but if you get enough people helping you with a couple dollars a month, that might allow us in the next 30 days to go upgrade our microphones or our lighting or some aspect of our equipment here, so we can kind of keep growing and producing better quality videos, which is going to in turn benefit you as a viewer and help grow this channel to bigger and better things. So any support you can provide, I greatly appreciate it. So I'd appreciate it if you go check out our Patreon page. And like I said, anything you can do is appreciated. And if you're not able to do that right now, I certainly understand. There's no pressure from our part, but whatever you can do, like I said, goes a long way in helping grow this channel. Don't forget as well to follow us on social media. You're going to see our link to our Twitter account right here on the screen. We're also on Facebook and Instagram, and all those links are down below in the description. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. We'll catch you next time.